Okay, thank you everyone for coming to watch another video. Today we have a phenomenal guest with us. Michelle is an agricultural economist by training and an advocate for smallholder farms at heart. She is based in South Africa working for Urban Farmer. Her current role has her traveling around Africa training smallholder livestock farmers to make their own livestock feeds and to manage their enterprises in a more sustainable and efficient way. She is currently an ambassador for women in agriculture in South Africa after winning the Voice of Women in Agriculture competition and the current Rising Star in Agriculture from the International Food and Agribusiness Management Association. Congratulations on all of your success, Michelle, and thank you so much for being here.
Thank you so much for having me. It's really a privilege to be here.
Of course. So you've kind of lived many lives, and you're already you're so young, but you've accomplished so much. And I'm curious, what prompted the transition from working as a marketing assistant in Spain to becoming a project manager in Urban Farmer in South Africa?
Yeah, so I think it leads on so well to your previous point that I have lived many lives. One of my lives, so to speak, was a year-long trip to Spain where I was doing an Agri MBA at the International School of Agribusiness Management. And during this time, I was still finishing up my master's degree at the university in South Africa. So I was doing that while I was doing my Agri MBA. So I had a lot of student fees to pay. And IFAMA at the time, I was doing my master's in marketing, and they needed someone to help out in their marketing department, quite specifically in Africa. And having come from Africa and having traveled Africa quite extensively, I could really offer some insights in that department. So it was a little bit of a side hustle while I was finishing up my formal education. Yeah. And then with Urban Farmer, I actually started with them when I was 19. I was a second-year student at university, and I knocked on their door and I said, I'm hungry for any form of experience you can possibly offer me, and started working for them part-time. And when I returned from Spain to South Africa, we remained in contact. And a couple of months later, my dream job opened at Urban Farmer, which is what I'm doing now. So that cued me to make a massive career shift. And I always joke and tell people the job I thought I would only get at 40, I got at 25. And I really count myself very lucky to be in this position.
It just goes to show how those side opportunities and those side roads that present themselves take them, because you never know where they're going to lead. And that's incredible that it was so fruitful for you, that, 19-year-old partnership, and just seeing that through, 6 years later and having that is really incredible.
And I think from my experience in that, I'm very cognizant now as someone who is in the industry of the effect that you actually have on young people. Yeah. When they do come knock on your doors and when they are hungry for opportunity, give it to them, because they are going to become the industry professionals who you need to hire 10 years down the line. So I think that also spiked a lot of my passion for youth engagements in agriculture, because had Urban Farmer not given me the chance when I was 19, I wouldn't be where I am now. And I would just love to pay that forward and be someone who's in the industry, who's really open for the youth who are interested in joining the industry, and mentoring them and showing them the ropes.
Yeah, that's amazing. And I'm sure you're already doing that.
I try.
Part of your role is the education and training of local farmers in Africa. What do you think has been the most transformative resource that has sort of reinforced the importance of Urban Farmer's mission?
Wow. I think for us, a big push is the urgency of needing to achieve food security. You can read anything that the FAO publishes or that the UN publishes, or, we all know that food security in Africa is in dire straits at the moment. So we need to do something about it. And at Urban Farmer, we always say that our mission is to make affordable quality animal protein more affordable in Africa. But we want to produce it in Africa. It's not about just importing it from a cheaper country. We want to produce it in Africa for the economic growth that comes from that and for the development that comes from that. So for us, finding ourselves in the field, whether you are in Kigali or in Ghana, in Zambia, in Zimbabwe, regardless of where you find yourself on the African continent, within these rural communities, every single time we get there, we realize the urgency of needing to bring these farmers solutions. The enterprises are smaller, their needs are different, their demographics are different, to bring them solutions that are really tailored to their circumstances. And when you do, it's fruitful. We've seen it. So I think, just being out in the field and being with these farmers has been eye-opening for us at many levels, but also understanding, from a research perspective, that our mission really is a problem and a lot of people recognize it. So we're very driven to be in the field and to contribute towards that problem as much as we possibly can.
Amazing. And you use something called a U-mix premix solution. Can you explain what that is to the viewers and the effect that it has on the feed?
So basically, when you are speaking about animal feed, it is made up of a couple of components which together make the recipe that has all of the nutritional elements that animal requires in order to produce at its best level and to retain its health. So when you look at an animal feed, you have your raw materials, which is generally things like maize and soya and bran and all of those things. And then you have your feed additives, which are amino acids, enzymes, vitamins, minerals, toxin binders, all of those things. On a commercial farm where people have tens of thousands of chickens, they are mixing tons of feed at a time. And with that, they are able to afford high quantities of premix ingredients at a time because those ingredients are very expensive. They make up a very small and critical component of the feed, but they are very expensive. Think almost of it as a multivitamin that a human would drink alongside their healthy diet to make sure that they're getting all of the essential nutrients. We know that those are very expensive ingredients in a capsule form, and it's the same for animal feed. And smallholder farmers often struggle to make their own feeds because they don't have the knowledge and the skills to understand which of those additives they need in what quantities. And if they were to buy commercial sized premixes, they are too big because you need machinery to mix those batches of feed simply because you are mixing such big batches of feed at a time. So what U-mix is we took all of the best technology in terms of feed additives, enzymes, amino acids, vitamins, minerals, and we've put it together into a package size and solution that is suited to the small scale farmer. So that farmer is able to use their maize and soya, and they are able to mix our U-mix product into their feed on the farm with the shovel. So we've eliminated the need for mechanization. And our recipes are formulated in such a way that the farmers also don't need scales because we calculated our recipes, one bag of maize, one bag of soya, mix it together. So they don't need to have scales, which makes the solution more accurate amongst the illiterate population as well. So really it's just putting the context of why small-scale farmers struggle to make their own feeds and finding a solution to that, which comes down to package size, simplicity of the recipe, and then, of course, having one small packet to send out to farmers makes a lot more sense than sending them big bags of feed that already contain the raw materials. Just from a transport and a carbon footprint and a logistics point of view, we are able to send much more U-mix than we are able to send full feed.
Yeah, absolutely. It's amazing that you're approaching this problem from many different sides. You're training and offering, materials to inform the farmers, and you're also offering really incredible resources to improve the issue as well. So I think that's pretty incredible, and that solution sounds awesome.
We are quite proud of it.
Yeah, no, you should be. And you've obviously managed to successfully fulfill many different roles at Urban Farmer. What does an average day look like for you?
Wow. I travel quite extensively up into Africa. So on the weeks where I'm traveling a lot, a day would normally be waking up early, driving out to a rural area. We do try to target rural areas with our training. Getting a group of farmers in a room and doing 7 to 8 hours of training with them, where we teach them everything from animal husbandry, animal health, biosecurity, a lot of economics in terms of financial management and record keeping. So that's a day where I'm out in the field training farmers. Days at the office can be entirely different. That can be anything from marketing to product development, or setting up service level agreements with distributors, or we're onboarding some interns now. So training and mentoring them will become a big part of my job in the future. Training the trainers who are taking over the training initiatives now in some of our countries, and making sure that they know how to service the farmers. And then, of course, we do a lot of research. So a lot of data capturing from these farmers and analyzing that data to understand the farmer needs, both from a product and a training perspective, and then evaluating how we can bring those solutions to them in the most efficient ways. And yeah, everything from strategic relationships straight through to being on the farm, mixing feed myself. All of it can be part of my day. It's really never the same for 2 days in a row.
I'm sure that keeps it exciting, though.
Absolutely. And I think that's what attracted me to both the industry and to this position is one day I'm a teacher, and the next day I'm a videographer, and the day after that I'm a lawyer. So you get to wear lots of different hats in this position, and it's fun.
And are you in South Africa right now?
I'm in South Africa right now. I'm preparing for a trip to Botswana, which will be next week. And then shortly after that, I'll be in Namibia, and then Tanzania and Kenya, all still in the next couple of weeks. So quite a bit on the horizon.
That is very exciting. And so my final question is, you said you're interested in sort of training the next generation. So I'm curious if you have any advice for specifically young women interested in following a similar career trajectory.
Oh, I have so much. And I think because I have so much advice to share, I've actually started writing articles of advice to these people. But if I had to give one piece that has been very valuable to me from the beginning, is to never underestimate the power of networking.
Sure.
I think a lot of young people think that, in order to build your network, you must be clever, you must be qualified, you must be experienced. And that's not true. You can very much, as a high school student, even go to an agricultural conference and talk to people and tell them that you're interested in the industry and find your way as you go. But the more people you know, the quicker you're going to find your way. And I think I've seen with a lot of young people that they have this hesitancy to sort of put themselves out there and start building their networks because they're not yet an industry expert and they don't yet know exactly what they want to do. And they are not 100% certain about what degree they need to do or what their first job needs to be. And I'm always saying to them, the more people you talk to, the quicker you're going to figure that out. And when you reach a level where you're in a job and you don't quite know how to tackle a problem, at least you have a phone book of friends you've met somewhere and you've had a conversation with them, and maybe now you're an agronomist and they're an animal scientist, but you need to know something about animals. And you find them and you say, hey, remember me? So I always want to really, really try and inspire young people to start practicing the skill of networking as early as they possibly can, because it's the most useful skill in this industry.
I think that's good advice for any young professional, honestly. And I am going to take that myself too. That's really powerful words. And I'm sure that that will be really helpful to anyone interested in following a similar path as you.
Fantastic. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much you've been so kind with your time, Michelle. It was lovely hearing about all of your accomplishments, and I wish you continued success. I'm sure you don't need my well wishes because you're already on such a phenomenal path, but thank you, and I'm excited to see all the work you do next.
Thank you so much, Sharon. All the best to you too.